stepdad just died. Just no air.
Makes no sense. Yeah, but and meanwhile, like his dad is MacGyvering some old spaceship.
I'm glad we could connect all this.
Oh my
Jack
God.
can't handle
Yeah,
it.
and meanwhile, they're just on the fucking moon with these AI.
I can't help thinking, somewhere in the universe, there has to be something better than man. Has to be. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ascension To Ten.
Soda.
All right.
Listen,
Here we are.
that hits hard.
Always
Who do we
bumping.
have in the house here?
Guess who's back?
It's the return.
Again.
I think I'm just gonna have to keep these on the whole time. Yeah, it's decided. Glasses on
Didn't-
glasses.
Didn't get the memo about sunglasses. Cool, guys. Just got
Well, I
this
didn't get the
stupid hat
memo
on.
on the headpiece. Thanks.
Well, we're talking about astronauts today, so.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Astronauts.
That fucking movie.
Oh, we got Bryan back in the studio. What's going on?
That's
man?
right.
I'm here.
Took
Made
the
it.
summer off.
Took the summer off to be on. Now we're turning it off. I'm here. You
He's been
understand.
He's been
Yeah,
gallivanting around.
We do it every year.
Yeah.
We do it every year.
Yeah, we do.
We do it every year.
We do. It's good to be back though. I missed you boys.
Good to have
It's
you
good
back.
to have you back. It was actually, it's funny when if you listen to last week's episode, we kind of dog shit on you because we're like, whenever he's going to come back. And then you just showed up.
Hi.
Hi.
I usually like to just reach that pinnacle point of just you guys being just fucking pissed, and then it's like, hey, hi,
Hi,
Sneaks
I'm
back
here.
He sneaks back
What
into
did I
our
miss,
life.
guys? Can you catch me up?
Let's see. When
But-
were you on last? Probably the Top Gun episode, right?
I think so. Yeah.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
if I remember right, things for the show kind of took a dip in terms of quality after that. We had a few stinkers in the pipeline.
I
And
mean,
Well,
that's gonna happen.
we had to dig
Well, to be
ourselves
fair,
out
we
of,
did
out of a hole.
we did do Iron Eagle afterwards, so we were
Oh,
on
okay.
like a
So it
2
wasn't
week
that bad.
high
Yeah,
of
yeah.
airplanes, and then
Yeah. After that,
Yeah.
though, the Iron Eagle
Yeah.
one was pretty decent, I think.
yeah.
But then there's a couple.
that
just
picture that
turd
you
burglars, and
the picture you made was just everything with the.
then- no, the Top Gun one, right?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
Top
yeah,
Gun
yeah.
one. Yeah, that's right. Iron
Yeah.
Eagle, but the Iron Eagle one too. You guys like did the what
That
was
was-
what was it thing
that
they had
was-
strapped to them or whatever on their leg?
It was a little
His
Walkman.
Walkman.
but
Yeah.
it was
He had a Walkman
full-on-
strapped to his
He carried
thigh.
it in a briefcase. This Walkman. And,
Yeah.
yeah, that face swap was a little bit cursed for that thumbnail.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh,
I have one thing I do have to clarify. We got an email about last week's Prey before it actually came out, and I was meant to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
But Mark sent us an email about Prey.
Oh,
and
he did?
Actually he gave a score.
We forgot
he-
to.
I forgot
put it in.
to. I forgot to
We've
talk
been
about it.
soliciting people to write us for the entire time we've been doing this show. Write to us. What do you want to hear? What do you want to see? And we get to include it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's
so
good.
what? Okay.
He gave it an 8 though, so he liked it
All
a
right.
lot.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
what I say. 8.5, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So I just wanted to make sure we give credit. Thanks, Mark. Wrote in.
Yeah.
Thanks for writing in.
He really
Boys at
enjoyed
Ascension
it.
To 10.com.
Yep.
If
Yep,
you
he
write to us, we
appreciated
may or may not
How it connects to the original.
acknowledge it. Thanks, Ben.
Hey,
But
Please
it's a-
write, but please write.
but
us.
please write to
We're-
us.
It's a work in progress. I mean, we're
Yeah.
doing the best we can here.
I mean, we're just
Sorry.
flooded with emails, right? It's too
just swimming in them.
We're trying
Too
real
hard to keep
I
up.
don't know, man. Sometimes
Yeah.
I just can't keep up with the amount of emails we get.
Yeah, it's tough.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. We got it in though.
But here we are.
So here we are.
Yeah,
Well, I rectified, so just wanted
You
to make
did.
sure.
you righted the wrong.
Sorry, Mark. I know you're listening.
Yep. Good job.
Yep.
Got that in the books.
Good job. Good job.
You seem so unenthused, so ready to move on. Anyways,
Anyways,
did you say you had a story to tell, Jad?
yeah, it's a part typical day. It's not a necessarily funny typical day like my other ones where I get screwed by other people. This one was just one of those days kind of things.
Yeah.
This was last Monday, and I decided to. So, as I've discussed on the show a couple times, I've had a renaissance with my wardrobe in terms of
Oh God.
started wearing golf polos and whatnot, and then got a few more here, got a few more there. Then it's completely redid my wardrobe, and then I started dipping into golf pants, and I thought,
Oh,
okay, the tops are nice. Let's try a couple pants out. So then, sure enough, they're pretty comfy. So okay, got a couple pairs of those. Dipping into new territories with colors. Got some navy, got some orange, kind of coppery orange. Got some traditional khaki. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I'm gonna get some white golf pants.
I knew you were gonna say it. Go ahead.
Feeling confident. So last
Yeah.
Monday I was feeling confident when I woke up.
Oh God.
Let's do this. I'm going to bust out. I'm going to leave the door here. Full head held high. White pants, navy top. Got my obviously custom gold and blue sneakers on. I was feeling good, buddies. So first stop, I didn't have any coffee beans for my coffee maker at home. So first stop, go into the my favorite coffee shop, pick up some
Yeah.
beans. And you know what? I didn't have any coffee, so I picked up some coffee too.
You're
Now,
talking about
on
Three
that-
Brothers, right?
Three Brothers, Nashville. Shout out. We would,
Yeah.
if they want to sponsor us, if they're
Please.
listening and they want to sponsor us. Okay, so but then I got my coffee beans. I don't have any coffee, so I had to get coffee there. Now, I get a cold brew coffee, and typically they just pour that sucker into a plastic cup. And I was feeling good, and I was also feeling, you know what? Let me do something for the planet today. I'm going to bring my own cup, own thermos thing. And so,
Ooh.
you know what?
Ooh.
Reduce, reuse. No need to recycle if you do both of those things, right? So I brought out my own cup, got it filled up, feeling good. Now, okay, here's what happens. So I park a mile away from where I work. That's because now this is off topic, but I refuse to pay work to go to work. So I don't want to pay for parking just to go to work, right? I'm not going to pay my own work so I can go to work. Rant over. So the nearest free place to park is a mile away. That's fine. I like walking. Okay, so what happens then is walking into the building, I have to have my ID out and ready. So it's on a lanyard, put that on my, around my neck. I got to get my keys out, got to get the mask on, get the sunglasses off, got to get my AirPods out so I can talk to the homie at the door. Okay, it's a whole process, right? It requires
Too many things with white pants,
requires
though.
it requires up to 2 hands, right? So if I have some type of vessel that I'm carrying in that contains liquid, that's one hand, and then I need at least one more hand, maybe 1.5 more hands to juggle all the stuff that I'm just talking about. Okay, so basically that's a long way of saying I had a backpack because obviously I needed to transport the beans, right? Okay, so that's all to say that I brought a backpack with me, and the plan was to put the thermos that I brought for the coffee.
Why'd you have to put
backpack.
the beans in the backpack?
Well, that's why I had the backpack, right? So I had the beans in the backpack, and I put the cup that I brought.
You drove.
thermos
You
thing.
drove, right? So you brought the beans in your backpack and you brought them from your car back.
Sorry.
Into
All right. What you need to know. That does sound stupid.
This is an
Yes.
important detail.
That does sound stupid. The coffee shop is in between where I park and where work is. So I walk to the coffee shop and then to work.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Okay.
Sounds
That's
like
important.
that's
So yeah.
stupid.
So I'm not. Yeah. So the beans are going to be with me for the rest of the day until I get.
So the
back to
only
my
thing
car.
in your backpack was beans.
Yeah, it's fucking coffee beans and then all my accoutrements to get in the fucking door, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Just
okay.
clarifying.
And
this
then
story.
so I had this thermos for coffee and stuff. Now it seals, right? And it's not one of those, dollar store coffee mug things that you get or whatever, and it has just a little twister thing that is just open to the air, right? So it would spill.
Okay.
We're talking high technology here, boys. They gave me the iced coffee. Awesome. Got my beans. Throw that in the backpack. I take 2 steps out of the door and I feel something wet on my ass and on my legs. I didn't close the coffee lid and stuff. And so it basically just dumped all over both of the back of my legs and my ass. Right now, I've had these white pants on for a total of 10 minutes in my life, right? It's because walked out the door, drove a mile to where I park, and then walked the 5 minutes or whatever it was to the coffee shop. And so I had a choice. Have I gone too far or not? Well, I decided I hadn't gone too far, so I walked back to the car, drove back home, took off the pants, soaked them and stuff, and just put on regular gym shorts and left. Okay. So I had the white pants on. Now, I also picked up a fucking screw in a tire. So this basically still brand new car. Picked up a screw, flat tire. And what you also need to know, I've lived in Nashville for 10 years. And at least one time every single motherfucking year, I've had to go spend time in a tire shop because either the tire just need new tires for some reason, or I get a blowout, or something happens, or I run over a fucking rock and ruin 2 wheels and 2 tires. It's literally been every year that I've lived here. I've had to spend time in a tire store, and this was yet another time that I had to go spend it in a fucking tire store. Okay, or I had tire issues to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't get to wear my white pants that I was all stoked about. Coffee spilled all over my ass. Didn't get the coffee. That's another thing. I didn't get to drink any of the coffee.
The stop was for nothing.
Can I ask another clarifying question?
Yeah.
So you got a coffee, and the first thing you did was just put it in your backpack. You didn't drink it, right?
Yes, because I need 2 hands to get in the door, and I put the coffee in the backpack so that I could be ready to walk in the door to get all the accoutrements out and on. Right?
Yes.
I thought so far ahead here. Right? Okay, when I get to the lab, I'm gonna have the coffee. Okay. So I do the rest of the day, and then I'm changing the tire when I get home. And then walk in the door. So I haven't walked in the door yet because I'm changing this tire. And then I need a snack, right? It's the end of the day. So it's 6 or 6:30 at this point. Start choking on this snack that I start eating. And I had to Heimlich myself to get this food out of the windpipe because my wife had just left. And so I was all alone and start choking.
God.
And so this all happened on a Monday. I hate Mondays.
Yeah.
Money's
And
over.
so it was kind of a typical day in the sense that it was one
That's a
thing after
typical
another.
day.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn.
Now, luckily, my high-tech golf pants washed out all good. I wore them today, actually. And
Are you wearing them now?
no. So anyways,
Damn.
Congrats. That's awesome, man.
that last Monday.
Yeah, I was gonna
Actually,
say
that
like
was-
that whole I hate Mondays is just like something that I think is kind of like I get it. Mondays do suck, but that isn't especially.
Bro,
Monday.
I was Garfield this Monday. It was just straight up Garfield or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, so did you leave early because of the flat tire?
No, I worked a full day.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would have been like, this is too much. I gotta
Yeah.
get out of here. Call it a half day. Comp day.
Nope.
Dang. Well, I can appreciate that. I've been craving one of those stories from you specifically.
Well, you should.
Yes,
listen to
I
last
have
week.
been
You should
waiting
listen-
for
yeah.
you to get shit on again so that I can hear about it. That's,
Well, you should listen to
exciting.
last week's episode then. That wasn't necessarily a typical day. That was a different type of Jad story, but a Jad story
That was-
nonetheless.
That was Jad,
Nice.
That was
putting trying to put his
Jad.
own life in risk.
Yep. Dang.
Even though he's talked about, not doing that, and then he proceeded to do so.
Well, I'm excited to meet that.
Lessons to be learned.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Anything other preamble here?
No, I this is one of those times I'm really excited to actually talk about this movie.
This is legit back to basics in terms of what we're reviewing here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's basically whenever we need a reset, we get a
Yeah.
Roland Emmerich movie, and we just we just need a disaster movie to get us going.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is something else. All right, we're talking about Moonfall,
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah, you guys will real quick. You did tech. I sent you a video message, and it was just a zoom in on the fact that I could watch.
Yeah,
Moonfall
what's up with
without
Yeah,
paying.
you could watch it for
What's up with
free.
that?
Yeah, because you guys paid like $5 or $10, right?
Yeah,
It's actually
yeah.
$3 because it was
So,
on
yeah,
sale.
yeah,
'cause
it's
no one was
$3. You
watching
could
it,
buy
I
the
think.
whole thing for $8.
Okay, well, it doesn't make this. It's whatever. Then this is not that big of a deal, but it's worth
saving
mentioning that for years, and I mean when I say years, like we've lived in this house now for 4 years, and it wasn't until late last year that we finally got to the bottom of this. But we had a Roku, one of those ones that you plug in. It was like one of the oldest models of a Roku you could get.
Yeah.
And I guess Morgan, my wife, had it when she lived in Sioux Falls still. And so when she plugged it in out here, we had some of the stuff was already on there, like Netflix and things like that. And her family had the Netflix login, and a couple other people provided like Hulu and things like that. But one thing, like I didn't know what Vudu was, but once I became privy to what Vudu was, I noticed that was a tab. And this was like when we were still living on campus. And so I clicked on it, and it was like already logged in, and it had whoever logged into this had like at the time like 350 400 movies bought and paid for. And these are like, and on Vudu, like when you pay for movies, and especially movies like this, like Lord of the Rings, Skyfall, like all of the Harry Potter movies, we're talking $10 a pop, like on average $10 a pop, sometimes 20. So you could guess that this person had spent upwards of like at the time, $4,000 to $5,000 on movies. And so I dug into it and was like, this is so cool, because they have all of my favorite kinds of movies on there. Whatever I'm in the mood for, usually have it. Like all the Marvel stuff, when we were trying to watch it all, you already know it was all bought and paid for on there. I didn't have to rent a single one. So I know I did a little digging, and I saw that the email was a Mr. Greg 3380 at Gmail or something like that. Might have fudged the last couple of numbers for the sake of his identity on this, but still have had it. And it wasn't until this last year, and just kept on just watching movies from this place. Don't know whose account it was. Morgan has no idea. She's like, we have all of these movies. We're not going to, poke the bear, try and figure it out. Just let it happen until we lose it. And finally, I think my sister-in-law and her boyfriend came out here. And one night we were just going to like chill and whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, we got a lot of movies to choose from on this Vudu account. We have no idea whose it is. And we went to it. And my sister-in-law's boyfriend was like, wait a second. I recognize whose profile is this? And so we like clicked into it, and it was his dad's profile, and their families joint, like everybody buying movies pile into this. So that was where the movies were. So
That's awesome.
I just told him that we've had it for so long. I feel like we should just be grandfathered into it all. And the funny thing is that he recently went through. So they've shared their voodoo accounts with a lot of different people. Apparently, Mr. Greg recently went through and like tried to log everyone out, or like, you know,
Trim the
eradicate
fat,
the
huh?
freeloaders, trim the fat. Didn't trim us. We still got it.
Nice.
I don't know. Just circumvented every time.
Made the cut. Made
yeah,
the cut.
so-
So you have to. That's
Was
sweet.
able to watch Moonfall.
That's good.
That's
I mean,
good.
I
Can we get the? Have we arrived at the rundown? Or
Yeah,
The
Yeah, we need
recap?
some stats and some rundowns and everything.
Yeah, so as most people probably know about this, so this was one of those big budgets. So it was 140 million for the budget. The box office itself only made 44 million, so they lost over 100 million just on budget to box office. I mean, the opening weekend it only made 9 million. So
And it came. When did it come out? Did it come out this year?
it can't. I think it was January 2022.
Oh man.
You guys
Just
think about
Complete
studio
bomb.
losing $100 million, you know, and just like how many
There-
school lunches would that be?
Oh. I mean, we're talking
many-
about making
how
massive
many-
changes
How many?
in a
It's-
lot of places all over the United States with
My
that amount
God.
of money.
Just think
All
about
for
like,
them to make this piece of shit movie.
well, the thing that's so funny is like the four main characters are great actors. It's Halle Berry, Patrick Wilson, John Barry, who plays Samuel Tarly, and then Michael Pena. Like those are like real actors, but it
Yeah.
just, oh my gosh.
I mostly just was confounded by Halle Berry's role in it, because all the rest of those people, I don't think I've seen a movie that I've been like, damn, that was an incredible movie with the rest of the cast, crew,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
But Halle Berry, I was like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, these
What
characters
is this?
they did not fit. They just didn't. It didn't fit. Didn't work.
Nah.
Let me do the synopsis, and then we can
Yeah.
get more into it. I initially wrote the super long one, but I shortened it because I figured we'll be talking about a lot of the things that I was going to add into it.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. A NASA mission goes awry when nanobots swarm and attack on a satellite on its way to the moon to dig a hole into its core. Brian Harper, the astronaut, gets his commander, Jocinda Fowler, and the shuttle back to Earth safely, then gets kicked out of NASA and his whole life and whole world falls apart. Fast forward 10 years, Fowler is promoted to the second in command at NASA, and Brian's rent is past due. There is this chubby guy named Casey Masterpiece, a superstructionist that believes the moon was made by aliens and is hollow inside. These three amigos go on a mission to save Earth by using an old space shuttle with graffiti on it and use the gravity of the moon to get them into space. They learn that aliens put organic matter on Earth and started evolution after the AI bots got mad about being smarter than humans and became supercells of matter and destroyed all life. The team blows up the nanobots and the moon immediately goes back into orbit and the world is saved.
Let's go.
So,
And that was
Yeah,
like,
have you
you
ever
sent the
listened to a
text?
synopsis before? And if so, does this certain synopsis make you want to watch this movie? No, it fucking doesn't. Whoever wrote this story just kept adding poop on poop on poop on poop until they had this big stack of poop, and they were like, "That's the script.
ticket.
That's the
ticket
story."
Right
This
Oh
is
my
almost scenes. Some of these scenes were almost shot for shot remakes of Independence Day 2 with
Yep.
the gravity, right?
Yep.
Also,
And
there's
again-
some Interstellar in there too.
Again, like we said in that movie,
Well, it's 2012
For something-
meets 84.
Yeah.
for something to counteract Earth's gravity would require a mass greater than the Earth's, right? Far in
Yeah.
excess, right?
Yeah. This is honestly what you're getting into right now might be the precipice of what I was looking forward to the most in this whole thing, is the actual science behind what they base their entire movie around, especially with like the moon's orbit getting closer and closer and closer, all of that, and just
That makes no
just
fucking
okay,
sense.
but also the ramifications of the moon actually being that close and then like just returning back to orbit again. Like there has to be some major death consequences for everybody on Earth with that kind of thing happening. I don't know.
The questions there's so many questions that I have, because it was that gravity thing again, but there's so many little ancillary things that, like you mentioned, like they just kept layering poop on poop on poop. Like why did they have to add the element of this guy that works at a burger shop breaks into a university, somehow can keep the door open and knows the password to the professor's computer, and he can call someone in Chile, get data sent to a other email address. He works at a burger shop too, and then he's just reading his phone, and all of a sudden he's like, "Oh my god, the moon is."
Yeah,
that was a real thing that just happened in this movie.
And their like attempts at really pulling emotional strings were just fails, just fail. Like the whole court thing with the son.
The fucking court scene. Okay. We gotta talk about
bounce
this,
around.
It's just the one of the main characters, right? He goes out to space, and then some nanobots swarm him and destroy his whole stuff, and then he's the only one that sees it, and NASA says, "You're full of shit," and stuff, and so he loses his job, he loses his family, he loses his house, and then it's just 10 years later, right? And then his kid is O.J. Simpson highway chase. It's just instantaneously his kid is in a highway speed police chase, right? And he gets arrested, and then it's this court scene. This is a disaster movie about the moon falling into the earth, right? And there's a serious amount of runtime with the astronaut's kid being charged for reckless driving, essentially, right?
Yeah.
And with possession of drugs.
With possession of drugs. Okay, so this is what happens. The indictment or whatever. And so the kid gets brought in. The dad, the former astronaut, this disgraced astronaut, shows up at the court, right? And the first thing the judge says is, well, you just turned 18. So in the eyes of the court, that makes you an adult. And the dad is all, What? Did you tell him something? He's talking to his kid. Did you tell him something? Tell him what? Like, what do you mean what? He's 18. And then it proceeds. Okay, so this dad is ticking off the judge, right? Because he's just in the gallery.
Just ticking him off. I haven't heard the word tick off.
Just ticking him off.
Anyways, just ticking
and so the kid, the kid's mom, the ex-wife of the astronaut, she remarries this super rich guy, right? And so there's this fancy pants lawyer on retainer who's there to help him get out of jail. And the dad is yelling at the judge saying, "What are you doing? You're not listening," or something. And then the slick lawyer is saying, "Bro, what can we do to correct this? Money is no object. We will make some kind of donation. We're here to get this settled." And the dad keeps freaking out in the gallery to the point where the kid just gets sentenced to jail because the dad is just ticking the judge off.
Order in the court.
Yeah, he's in contempt of the court. And then the dad is all like, "What?" And he's blaming the lawyer. And it just doesn't make any sense. This is a disaster movie. And what doesn't make any further sense is the next day it's just the apocalypse because the moon has already fallen.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the kid is just in jail, right? There's no civilization. There's no structure to anything. And the kid has to be bailed out of jail on the condition that this astronaut go and save the planet. He said, "All right, I'll do this suicide mission under one condition.
Yeah.
And then it's not spoken right, but hey, can you go bust my kid out of jail? He has a reckless driving ticket.
Yeah. The world's about to end, but
World's about to
need
end.
to
He's
get him
still
out of
in
there.
jail, right?
Take the Marine helicopter.
Yeah. It's just so stupid. This is oh my God.
It just was neat. It was pointless dialogue, pointless.
Pointless.
It was
dialogue.
a long runtime too.
Oh
It
my
was
God, there was
2
a certain
hours and
point
10
in my
minutes.
notes. I was like, I wrote in my notes, why won't this just end? Right? Why can this not end?
It was
Yeah.
They literally just kept adding and adding different characters and different stuff to it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's one point where there's kids driving away from like this water wave, and all of a sudden they just get stopped by some cronies on a mountain road at gunpoint and take their
Yeah.
stuff, and then they just hike. But they just keep going.
My
It's like,
God,
no
they
big
just
deal.
hike. Okay, they hike. They're in the fucking mountains, right? And it's snowy.
knows
It's
where?
cold. They don't have anything.
No,
They
no
hike,
help,
and then
no
they
hats.
just randomly run into this fancy driveway for a mountain resort. Okay.
Yep.
And they're actively getting shot at because the person who owns it or something is just 24/7 manning this
Karen.
driveway.
Yep.
And he says, "Yo, I don't know who you are. Get off my land." And it just starts shooting at them. And then
Yeah, the
all of a
lady.
sudden, the gate opens up and out drives this Lexus. And it's just the stepdad in this
Yeah.
other person's driveway on call for some reason on this just remote mountain pass.
Yeah.
And he takes them back to a completely different fucking cabin, right? On the
Yeah.
other side of town. And it just doesn't make any sense.
No,
Why
my
include
favorite-
this?
I think my favorite part about that is that the lady who was shooting at the people and was like, "Get off my property" or whatever she
Yeah.
says. Her name was Karen.
Yeah, perfect.
And so then like when they are going through the fence, so one of the characters, I think it was the stepdad, was like, "Thanks, Karen." Something like that. I was like, nice.
I
Nice
don't.
touch. But wait.
I want to make sure I highlight something about this scene. Okay.
Yeah.
Number one, it's the fucking apocalypse, right?
Right.
There's no cell phones. There's no communication. The moon is literally on the Earth at this point, right? There's what they're calling gravity waves, where shit just gets sucked up into the air. Okay.
Yeah.
It's the middle of the night, and this kid has never once contacted or tried to contact his mom or stepdad.
Yep.
Right.
They walk up to a random driveway in the middle of a mountain pass, and his dad just randomly drives through this gate
Yeah.
after
Just
they get
sends it.
shot at.
Yeah.
And
I think my favorite thing about that, and it was either, I know it was for sure 2 times, it might have even been 3, but the son. So like, when they get robbed at gunpoint
yeah,
and then the
Yeah.
people leave and they're just standing there in the snow. There's like, like a pull-in shot on him and the girl that's with him and then the little kid.
Yeah.
And he looks over at the girl and goes, "We better get going." And then they go to wherever they're going, and then they come. I don't know what all happens because it lost my attention and whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
eventually, maybe 10 minutes later, could have been 30. I don't even know because the movie is so long. But eventually, they arrive at the edge of the precipice of a mountainside
Yeah.
or whatever, and they can see like way out there. And I think they watch these meteor asteroid things go flying over their head, and they hit the mountain off in the distance, and it just like, obviously it's like, well, those could just continuously like, that is danger.
yeah.
It's like the thing pans in on him and the other two, and he looks over and he goes, "We better get going."
Yeah.
And then it's like,
Okay.
Well,
Mhm.
so when that mountain gets hit on the other side, like it's a meteor just smashes that mountain.
It's an
Wouldn't that-
explosion of a mountain, right?
Wouldn't it
And
cause
then
an
it's just
avalanche
nothing.
too? Because there's
It's
snow on it.
just nothing.
yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
it didn't
I just-
impact anything, even though there's just a village underneath it, and they're just like,
Yeah.
let's keep going.
I just thought it was really funny. It felt like they were like, "We're moving. We got to get going. We got to get going."
It's just
It's like, yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but you don't even know where you're going. But somehow you arrive at the doorstep of your stepdad's secret.
no. That's
getaway
the
in the
thing. It
mountains.
wasn't his house.
Oh, I thought
Am I articulating that? It was some random fucking driveway.
Oh wow!
It was
I thought it
Karen's
was-
house, right? They then have to drive across town. He was just happened to be in this random driveway at the time that they show up and they start shooting at him.
Oh,
They
man.
start shooting at a child. That's the thing. It's this 18-year-old kid is the oldest person in this party, and they're some other kid, the Halle Berry's kid, and they're taking him to safety. And
Man.
oh my god, there's so much runtime for the dumbest stuff. And
But again, I think one of the funnier things for me was their attempts at like pulling on emotional strings. Like, you want to know who was the worst actor on the whole thing? Halle Berry's husband. That general.
yeah,
He
I don't know.
was
I gotta say
literally a
that
dud.
That
I don't even
18-year-old
remember.
kid, that 18-year-old kid though, where they zoom in and he says,
Sonny.
"We should go, Sonny." I don't know where they found that kid to play this part, or if they intentionally tried to write him that way. But my God,
Yeah.
Well, they gave the impression like he's like this bad kid, and he was like the quietest, just like, hey,
Okay.
Dad.
There was a little bit of a story element to him where, it's the opening scene where the nano particles destroy the shuttle, and then we also are glossing over the fact that this main character, the disgraced astronaut, is the only person ever in the history of the entire human civilization to land a craft from space with no instruments, no power, nothing, right? Because the AI bots destroyed the whole thing.
He
And
showcases
he was-
it later on.
Yeah. And so he is this hero miracle worker of epic proportions in the astronaut program, and he gets kicked out because he says there are AI nanobots out there.
Yep.
Right? And so the kid is then it flashes to this house scene where this little kid, I guess he's 8, is first of all, they're packing up this house. And I don't know, I've never hired a moving company, but what I noticed from this scene is they had about 20 people, paid actors, to act as a moving company.
Yeah.
And I think that's got to be a bit unusual, right? Because around here I see trucks that
two
say
guys on a
men-
move.
two men in a truck, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's this company that 20 people milling about packing up boxes, and this kid is just still has his TV out, right? And he's just watching news coverage of his dad be disgraced. And then you see some angst in this 8-year-old. It's like, I don't want to move. I don't want to whatever. I don't want to do this stuff. It's all dad's fault. Yep. And then it's 10 years later and he's O.J. Simpsoning out in the in the freeway. But then when he sees him in the courtroom, he's like, "Oh, hey Dad, what's up?" And there's no angst there. There's no their relationship is he lived with them. Or he lived with his dad. He didn't live with his mom and the fancy stepdad.
Yep.
And then when he gets bailed out of jail, he just kind of casually walks up to his dad and says, "Hey, I believe in you. This is cool." So it's just so weird.
Yeah. Also, the main character, the astronaut, Bryan, the disgraced astronaut, I think that they just wrote such a boring character with it. Like, rides a motorcycle, wears all leather, like shows all the scenes where he's like cruising in and out of places, like gonna get evicted from his place, like kind of a badass, can't keep his payments tight.
Yeah.
Always working on a fucking car.
That's the thing.
It's like
that's the thing. The moon is literally falling, and he's socket wrenching some dumbass thing in his Mustang, right? And then he gets a phone call. It's like, turn on the news, and he just kind of casually strolls over and just kind of dials up the volume, and it's the Earth is colliding with the moon, right? And he goes back to socket wrenching his Mustang.
It just felt like they were like, oh man, let's just do that. Very, very typical. It was Tom Cruise from Top Gun, but just an astronaut.
Just super lame.
A very lame
just
version.
a yawn version of Tom Cruise. I don't know, Spenny. You said that he's a good actor and has been in stuff, but I don't know what else he could have been into. Well, anything else he would have been in would have been better than this, but I have zero confidence in him being a good actor in anything.
He's
what
been in Phantom of the Opera and Insidious. So I don't know if you've seen either of those, but it's better.
I guess
And
I'm
he's been in a lot of horror films.
Spenny just took a big old dunk on me.
But one thing about the movers that you mentioned, I've never seen 20 either. But the question I had is, so they lost the house, but they could afford movers. So I was trying to figure that part out.
That's the thing. Industrial scale size moving company, and they lose the house.
Like, we just lost.
There's
the
a
house.
couple of other just dumb things about this
Yeah.
movie that are small, but I took notes on them. One, okay, opening scene. They're just jibber jabbering away out in space on this spacewalk, repairing something, right? And it's just kind of this casual. These astronauts are so above, carrying the fact that they're in space. They're so elite, right? That they're just jibber jabbering out there.
Right.
And one of the homies is staring directly in the sun. You can see the sun's reflection, but he has no sun visor down, right? This would be frying his eyeballs. In
Yes.
retina. Just staring directly into the sun with no visor at all.
Wow.
Then there's just some dumb tornado thing with the nanobots on the moon. The camera work wasn't always like this, but during the moving scene where the mom is talking to the kid about, maybe you'll see your dad next Thanksgiving or something, right? And he's all, I don't want to move and whatever. And the cameraman in this one scene had the liberty, maybe it was just some intern or something, because it was like he had the camera and he was just walking backward and forward and not zooming in, not panning in and out, right? From a stationary thing. But this guy was walking forward and backward into their faces, into the mom's face, into the kid's face. And then there was just never, the cinematography just changed completely after that. It was just the one scene of
So
whatever
weird.
that was.
Maybe he thought he was doing a music video and he was trying to zoom in to singing.
Who knows?
And then, so Spenny mentioned that one of the other main characters, this superstructurist, PhD.
Yeah, Casey
who-
McDougalson.
Yeah. He makes this groundbreaking discovery about how the moon is out of orbit and whatever. And so his solution was to call the NASA gift shop at 10 p.m. And there was someone there to answer the phone.
Give me the director of NASA.
Not only did he call the gift shop, but someone was there, right? That's almost even more stupid than him calling the gift shop, is that it was 10 p.m. at night and someone was there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
So he figured this orbit thing out. All of a sudden they talk about how it went viral, but how did it go viral? Like there was no explanation.
But I guess the implication there was that he posted it on TikTok or something, right? And it just took care of itself.
Yeah, it was like on, I think they said Twitter.
Here's the thing about there was one correct thing that was scientifically in this movie, and it was when the Burger Boy was impersonating the actor at the Griffith Observatory, and he was saying that, do you know why solar eclipses happen? It's because the moon is 400 times the sun is 400 times the size of the moon, and the moon is 400 times away from it or something. That is accurate. What is also accurate is that the moon's orbit is changing, and we know this. It's getting farther and farther away from the Earth. And so in a few millennia, we're not going to see solar eclipses anymore because the moon it's still going to be the same size, but it will be farther away. And so there will be no more solar eclipses. So the thing about the movie is that they were accurate in that the moon's orbit is changing. It's just not changing towards us. Oh. And what makes no sense is that this is some type of sentient thing. That's one of the big reveals of the movie, is that the moon is this tiny little Dyson sphere thing. It's made by progenitor humanoids. And what makes no sense is that it is this AI thing. It only loses its orbit when the nanobots attack it. When the nanobots leave, the moon just goes back. Yeah. So just stay where it is. It doesn't make any. There's no justification for why the nanobots can make the moon fall into the Earth.
Yeah.
Well,
but the motivation was that they want the nanobots want to destroy living or carbon-based life, right?
Mhm.
Wasn't
so
the
just go to the
premise-
Earth?
Wasn't the premise
Just go to the
that
Earth and do that.
wasn't the premise that the reason the moon was falling is because the nanobots would go sit on the white dwarf and take the power away, so it would start falling into the Earth?
I
But that
wasn't
doesn't-
paying
I mean,
attention close
It,
enough.
I
thought it was because I thought it was because they were drilling into the side of the moon and it was pushing it towards Earth. That's literally what I thought because I wasn't paying attention.
honestly, Spenny, maybe I think I was falling in and out of sleep
So-
when,
so
when I
this-
got to that point.
Your accuracy thing is funny because they actually had a real astronaut on set during this
Really?
as an advisor, and they said occasionally he would come up to Ronald Emmerich and say, "Hey guys, I mean that's not really possible."
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I bet he didn't want to be associated.
No
He didn't want to
way.
be associated with this.
But
movie.
you already know he was factored into that $140 million budget. So
he'll pay them not to be included in the credits, right?
Okay, can
it's too
we
late for that.
can we talk real quick? So there's a scene where the viral thing goes out. They hear about the moon going down. NASA comes out with a press conference talking about there's nothing to be concerned about or something, and then the director's just like, you know what, I'm out. Here you go, Halle Berry. Take
Quits,
take my key card. Why don't you go look up Holden Field, find out what that's about? And it goes to this scene where it's just a warehouse. There are two guys there. One that's
Okay,
just sitting
yep.
at a table with a gun and a bullet, and the other
Yep.
guy's just sitting at another desk. And she just like hands him the key card and says, "I want to see whatever the project STX something." But it's just like Donald Sutherland sitting there, and he's just like, "I was wondering when you were gonna come. It's time
Okay.
for me to, yeah, what?"
Okay. Yes, this stupid scene. Okay, first of all,
It's
she
2
goes
minutes.
to this. She goes to this black site NASA. This NASA black site, blacklisted, top secret records library thing.
Top
right?
secret.
Top secret, and it's racks and racks and racks of these boxes of old information, right? Files and documents and stuff, right?
Right.
And she goes and she's sifting through. She just finds the right area, and it's just a USB flash drive, right? It's in a records box. You know those folio boxes, right?
Yeah.
It's just a fucking USB drive. It's like the props department didn't know what else to do, right? And so they weren't told what to do. They made everything else look like a records depot, and they used a flash drive for these records. But okay, that when Donald Sutherland came in, this was so funny to me because he says, "You don't have the clearance to be here. Who gave you the clearance?" And then in the same sentence just starts revealing the secrets. She didn't
Yeah.
say a word. She didn't
The
say,
biggest
"Oh, I'm the new
secret.
director." He comes in and says, "You shouldn't be here. You don't have the clearance." Well, this is what happened to me when I went to the moon.
Yep.
And just told the biggest NASA secret within
Yeah.
the same breath of saying you shouldn't be here.
Yeah. Yeah, his character and purpose for being in the movie was beyond me. It reminded me a lot of, I know eventually we'll watch Virus because I think that'll be great, but his role in Virus, I mean, it just
It was.
it's scarily similar.
They said, I think one of the things was that his son, Donald Sutherland's, his not the famous one, but the other one is like one of the financiers for this movie. So they got him to go in because it was his son was one of the people that helped it, but it added nothing to it.
Nope.
It was just
Not
one.
one
Oh man.
ounce of importance.
But then
And
this
then
this
for
scene
some
rem-
reason they put him in a wheelchair too, which I just found so oddly unnecessary, right?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, he was an astronaut or something, right?
Yeah.
But wasn't he on the moon?
Well, yeah, yep.
He says,
Okay. And then he found. So I fell asleep or something at this point. When he was revealing what the secret was, he said something like, the reason that the NASA lost communication during the first moon landing, as they said that they were going to expected to lose contact because of some kind of satellite thing. But then he revealed that they intentionally cut the feed because they found something up there.
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
Yep, that's exactly
Well,
right.
okay. They make it somewhat of a point to highlight the fact that he's in a wheelchair. Wouldn't you think that they'd decide to
No.
say there was an accident or something to explain why he's in a wheelchair? He's just a guy in a wheelchair.
This guy in a wheelchair.
Now,
Yep.
I have no problem with people in wheelchairs should be in that's fine, right? But it just was some random thing to have a former astronaut be in a wheelchair in this records, just hold away in this records depot thing. I don't know. It's just,
Well, right after this, it goes to Bryan is trying to find KC masterpiece at some hotel or something. Like he's talking, and like a tidal wave comes, and like Bryan,
This fucking scene.
Bryan is like, everybody get upstairs, and Casey just sits there and fucking just stares at the wave and just gets taken out.
flattened.
And it's
Okay.
like, what are you doing?
Okay, what I want to highlight of Spenny just saying that is that the tidal wave comes into the hotel lobby, right? Okay, he gets swept away, bro. Where's he gonna go?
Yeah.
Right, and then it's this. So that's it's the water's coming in and stuff, and then the astronaut boy, he's where's he? Where'd he go? And because he's kind of on the staircase, and he wants to rescue him, and then one of the other homies that was at this meeting, a workshop, he's like, he's there. He's just a foot away from the staircase, right? Because that's how big the lobby is, right?
Yeah.
He's not swept out of the hotel. It gets washed to the staircase, essentially, right?
I do want to say, maybe I'm remembering this wrong. But for some reason, the indication that the flooding is happening was that stoner bra, and
Ziggy.
his feet start to get wet.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that happened, and then the next scene was him coming down the stairs to the lobby where the waves are then going to crash in through and to notify. You know what I mean? I believe that's what happened. I want to believe that's what happened.
That's awesome.
And I'm not going to go back and watch it again to confirm or
Right.
deny that.
Yeah,
that's
we're
what
not
it
doing
is.
that.
So
No,
I'm
we're
just
not
going
doing
to. I felt.
I think
like,
I think that's your word. Yep, I believe you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That just was like I was like that. I don't think that makes sense.
But
anyway,
this whole part is so after that, like they save him, and then they go up to like the next floor. There's still electricity like everywhere. All the lights are on and everything, and they have time to just go to bed.
They're just chilling. They get
It's
some robes.
literally there's tidal waves coming and they're flooding.
Yeah. Okay.
They just
So
go to bed.
before they go to bed, they're in the robes.
I forgot
right?
the robes.
They're in the robes. And this is another one of these decisions that just okay, the astronaut wants to know if his son is okay. The same son that he just put in jail, right? Through his negligence in the court.
Yeah.
Okay, what does he do? He calls his kid's cell phone. Okay? Ring, 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 ring. Damn it. And the burger boy says, who are you trying to call? And he says, my son. Where is he? He's in jail. Right? So at this point, he accepts and knows that his kid is in jail, and he's trying to call his cell phone and is just bummed out that he can't get a hold of him in jail during an apocalypse, right? Just
Unreal.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Jail.
Wow. I missed
That was
that little nugget.
I think that
good.
was maybe the dumbest thing in the movie for me was him trying to reach his kid in jail.
I mean,
and then
I
being
don't know.
bummed out about not being able
The
to.
finding the space shuttle in a shed with graffiti on it, and then they're just pulling it with Humvees. And there's another scene that doesn't make any sense where these two guys are filling up on gas, and like some guy finds a bunch of money, and they're like, "What do you need that for? It's not worth anything." He's like, "Okay," and like throws it,
Bleh.
and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you just see a giant boat coming at them, and then there's a
Yeah, they're
space
like,
shuttle.
"We gotta go.
We gotta go.
We gotta go.
And it was like,
And then
whoa,
behind that boat is
what?
the Humvees pulling
that
the
spaceship.
graffitied spaceship. Yeah.
But
it
we
was
should talk
all-
about the other spaceship first. Okay, so they launched. The other stuff is going on. They acknowledge the nanobots, and so NASA says, "Let's get a rocket up there. Let's go take some pics. Right? We got to know what's going on here." And so
Oh yeah, I
they
forgot about
Halle
that.
Berry says,
There's
"Well,
another-
I can, I'm on the phone with Japan or something, and they have a rocket. We can get this loaded up tomorrow." And the director of NASA at this point doesn't think it's that big of a deal. And this is before he quits, and he says, "What are you doing? That's dumb, right? What are you gonna launch a whole thing up there on a maybe or something that we kind of know about, but also who cares?" Not to mention, that's the same fucking guy who gave her his ID card to go look at these NASA files about exactly that thing, and he's denying it while it's happening. And he says,
Wow.
"That's fucking stupid. Why are you asking them for a rocket? We don't need to do this." Later that day, they're already in space, right? She said the earliest could be maybe tomorrow, and then it's that day they're already at the moon.
Yep.
I mean, they didn't even. They started the countdown, and she's like, "Nope, gotta go now." And they're like, take off at 7 seconds, almost get swallowed by a wave.
No. That was the second thing. This is the first when they send the first mission to the moon
The probe.
in response to the nanobots.
That's right.
She says the earliest we can do is tomorrow. He says you're an idiot, and then that day they're at the moon already.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, it just was such a long movie. It's all blurring together.
But you're right. So they get the disgraced, old abandoned space shuttle.
Yep.
It's the same space shuttle that the astronaut piloted back to Earth with no equipment after the nanobot attack. So they just, I don't know, take it to, where do they take? They take it to the mountains somewhere, right? They take it somewhere so that
I have no
moon's
idea.
gravity could assist.
Yeah.
Right? The launch or something.
Yeah, but they were on
And then
an
it's just
ocean.
ready to go. They have all this infrastructure.
I think it was California
and then
still.
it's going great, right? It's going fucking great. They're making great time. They have all these people. They have a team. They got this EMP, the ex-husband
Oh my
who
gosh.
Bryan was dunking on.
Hooked them up.
Hooked them up with an EMP that had been in the shed for 20 years or something.
Mhm.
And they have the guys to do it. And he says, these two guys come with this bomb, right, and say, "We're the only people on the planet that know how to use this thing. Anyways, here's how you use it. You just push this button."
You push the button twice.
They push the button that says "fire" the bomb,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we rewired
so-
it, so it's just
okay.
2 buttons, real fail safe.
So they're willing to accept the fact that they're going to dig out this space shuttle from a gift shop, transport it across the country to some random mountain town, right? And they're willing to accept all of the implications of it not working out, right? And then just some random fucking scene where the astronaut and Halle Berry go out on this rainy platform underneath the shuttle, which, by the way, I don't know if you guys had this experience when you were watching it, but I couldn't hear a fucking thing they were talking about because it was all this background wind and rain noise, and they were
Yeah.
and then just animated and stuff, and then this random music that was happening.
Yeah.
And so the gist of it was, I guess, one of the engines didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
So
they
what
were
did they
just
say?
said, all right, fuck it.
she literally
We're done
just,
here.
Thanks
They
for
sent the team. They were like,
They
everybody
said,
can go home.
all right, go home.
Give
We're
up.
done here.
She's
Yeah.
literally
Literally give up.
telling them. She's telling them thanks for everything, but we are done. We give up.
We're
And people
done.
are
Yep.
already on the plane
Yeah.
while she's talking.
The plane was taking off as she was saying, "We're done here. I don't know what to do." And
Yeah.
the whole astronaut team, the whole fucking everybody in mission control, everybody just fucking leaves, and it's
Yeah.
and it's
Doesn't that-
Burger Boy.
Yep.
It's Burger Boy and a couple other just random NASA people stick back and they're like, oh, the calculations on the moon are actually incorrect because you didn't account for this mass and this proton over here. And they're just having a good time doing calculations with the calculator, right? Just
all these other people on this plane.
They're all just leaving, right? They're all leaving. They don't know about the broken engine or anything. The fact that the mission is over, they're just calculating some stuff for the fun of it. And so then it's like, well, what do we need to do here? Oh, the moon will lift us up because, we're having these gravity waves. We'll just time it quick and get only 2 engines to get us halfway there. Perfect. Everybody's fucking gone, right? They're all gone. Mm-hmm. And it says, okay, well, you two NASA people here, you can be our mission control, right?
Yeah.
And then for some reason, they have all this extra staff and stuff to help them load into the rocket. They just said everyone's gone. It's just the 4 of us. And then there's all this staff to get the rocket ready and the fuel and them.
Well, see, they were at the top and they didn't have time to get down before the plane took off.
Right. And they literally say, okay, what do we need to do here? This gravity wave is coming in, I don't know, 20 minutes or something. All right, let's go. And the Burger Boy says, what do you mean, let's go? Well, you're coming with us. Bro, I shit my pants on a daily basis. I can't go to space.
I have IBS.
They're like, they take all this time. They have 20 minutes, and they take 2 to 3 of those minutes to convince them to go, right? And so then they have 17 minutes to fuel the rocket, get up to the rocket, and get in. And then this gravity wave is coming, and then it's a tidal wave, kind of like an Interstellar, like what Bryan, I think, was hinting at.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all the staff just fucking dies, right? Yeah. They get swallowed up in this tidal wave. So the mission control that they had, the 2 guys, these 2 lone warriors that were going to stay no matter what, fucking die immediately.
Yeah.
Well, that's because
swallowed by a wave.
The helicopter flew right into it. Like you see
that wall of water just goes.
This is the part. This is the part where like the kids are sitting on a hill behind it, like the other direction. And why didn't they fly that way? They flew right into the tidal wave.
And the kid,
it made no sense.
The kid just stops to watch it too, right?
Yeah.
And the wave is higher
see
than
this?
them.
Why do people direct things like this? It was only a second, right? But the time it took to get the B-roll for him to stomp on the gas pedal, right?
Yeah.
Picture the rest of the scene. Space shuttle that was taken from a fucking gift shop, somehow using the moon's gravity because it's close enough, going up with 2 rockets. That's going on in the distance. The whole ocean around them is being anti-gravity up, right? The helicopter with all the support staff just got swallowed by a tidal wave, and they're going to show a scene where a kid stomps on a brake pedal.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, at least they put it.
Why does he stop in the first place to watch this? And then why do they show him stomping on the brake pedal?
Well, at least it was a practical effect versus the rest of the movie.
Bro, when I sent you guys a text message, they're green screening hallways, right? They're green screening the Griffith Observatory in LA. Aren't they just in LA? Can't they go and shoot a scene with that in the background?
Yeah. Most of it was shot in Canada, but some of it was shot in LA.
Well, okay, well,
I mean, come on, what are we doing
you know
here?
What?
They're in LA,
ridiculous?
right? The green screen, the outside of it, and then they make a set for the inside of it. They make a whole replica set of the inside of that observatory, and they didn't have the budget or no means to go shoot outside of it, to make one scene on the outside of it.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But then they're green screening the inside of hallways.
It was so bad.
But then when they're inside the Dyson Sphere, they had this elaborate set that looked really good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So they blew the whole budget on that.
Yeah.
For the 5 minutes or something that they're inside of that thing.
Yeah. So at this point they haven't even we've covered to this point.
Like
they haven't
45 minutes.
They haven't even gotten to the fucking moon yet. And
there's so much movie left at this point, right?
I think at this point the action sequences of them just getting in the air like towards the moon, it's just like that's the first hour is just building all these side story quest bullshit, brake pedal, planes getting fucking taken by ocean waves. Dumb. It was so dumb. It was so uninteresting.
This stupid 18-year-old kid, worst acting I've ever seen in my life. Just we gotta go. His face was like that the whole time. Line. I guess we gotta go. That kid. At one point, the moon, as the moon is crashing in on the Earth and stuff, he gets to the mountain town with his dad, who randomly goes out the driveway, right?
Yeah.
And then the dad somehow knows about this mine or something that they go try and get. And somehow, can you guys explain this to me? Somehow they had this one Lexus dealership owner had the foresight to think, well, if the moon is going to crash into us, we're going to not have an atmosphere, and so we're not going to have any air to breathe. So we need to go to the fire station and get some oxygen.
Yep.
Well, that's because on the radio they talked about the atmosphere going away.
I missed that.
It was
completely.
the daughter that was like,
okay.
that means the oxygen's going away, idiot. She was talking to her little sister.
Okay, I was definitely
that's where it
nodding off at
connected.
that point. Yeah. Which talk about completely useless characters are these two stepsisters for that kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
I don't think one of them had a single line. Right.
No,
I think
that
there was one
the
of them
only
that
line
never
was her
said
being a
single
smart
thing.
ass.
There were
About
two
oxygen.
of them.
Yes.
So they there's this pilgrimage then to get out of this mountain cabin, right? To get the oxygen tanks and then to get to this cave that the guy knows about, right?
Yep.
And I was falling asleep at this point too, but at one point there was such a huge gravity wave that the stepdad just gets yanked out of this cave, right? And no one else. The dad just gets anti-graved out of the cave. And so the kid, the 18-year-old kid, says, in this act of chivalry and nobility, says, I'm going to go for him. And leaves the cave and then also gets anti-grav sucked out of the cave, right?
No.
And then
that's
not how it happened?
The stepdad ran out of oxygen and he gave his oxygen to the younger girl and she walked over and then he just died out there. And then the brother, the son was trying to go back out, and that's when everything started falling.
Oh, okay.
And then and then the foreign exchange student goes out to get him, and with gravity is able to lift a tree.
Lift a whole tree. Which he was fine. He was just chilling underneath that tree the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So
But what about the lack of oxygen? Was that just temporary? It made no fucking sense. I was thinking of the whole time, like, bruh, the dad just died. The stepdad just died. He just had this, like, such a noble act. And then the writing just diminished that completely because in the next scene, the bruh trapped under a tree and the exchange girl is just, like, lifting it with all of her might with the help of gravity. I was so confused.
Okay.
So confused.
Kid had this same expression under the tree as he was just during the rest of the movie. It was just It wasn't even trying to show pain or anything. Just covered.
Oh man.
Trapped under an entire fucking tree.
Oh man. It was really something that
It was
see for me it wasn't his acting was it was just such a non-factor that I wasn't even paying attention to.
Just chilling under a tree. His stepdad just died. Just no air.
Makes no sense. Yeah, but and meanwhile, like his dad is MacGyvering some old spaceship.
I'm glad we could connect all this.
Oh my
Jack
God.
can't handle
Yeah,
it.
and meanwhile, they're just on the fucking moon with these AI. Oh,
Yeah. It was really
God.
that bad.
oh my god.
Well, can
It was
we
really that bad.
can we talk?
Oh.
Can we talk real quick about
Oh.
the fact that so when they're getting the oxygen, there's this just wild chase scene, and there's the line where they're driving the Lexus and the car is in eco, and the stepdad switches it to sport, and he says, "Let me put this thing into warp speed," and then it just launches up. It's just so stupid.
And then
And
okay,
then
just
fucking
say-
died.
Oh, that chase scene, this truck is gonna try and T-bone the car, right? They're just fucking misses. There was no conflict there. There was no.
There was no reason for that. That whole gang.
Oh my god.
Apparently, they knew that they
Shit.
needed oxygen too.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so they get to the moon, right? And it turns out the hole that they dug, the hole that the nanobots dug drills into the core of the moon, which is this Dyson sphere surrounding a white dwarf star. And man, the whole point was to lure the nanobots to the ship because they have this EMP bomb. They're just some circuit boards out there, right? So they thought this 30-year-old EMP bomb could take out this advanced interdimensional intergalactic alien artificial intelligence with a bomb from the 70s, right?
Totally.
That was their plan. And
Yep.
so obviously that didn't work right away. And then I don't know, they get, who cares?
Here's the thing: the EMP bomb. They get to the alien ship, and the aliens are like, "Well, we've developed this new AI that's benign, so it won't take a side or anything."
Yeah.
And then it goes to, well, they souped up the EMP bomb before they
that's
go
what
back.
happened. Okay, I was actively asleep at this point.
Yeah, I missed that too. I
had no idea why.
I think I was snarfing a sandwich
Because
paying
they
attention to that, but they broke the trigger initially, right? The
Yeah,
thing that was
yeah.
supposed to. Yeah,
Of
then
course.
magically it
But
starts
then-
working again.
Because of course the remote would be broken, right? So someone had to stay home. So Burger Boy had to stay back, and
yeah.
Master Chief stayed behind.
But if the AI whatever could like fix their ship and make it better and give them all these upgrades, why couldn't they create another remote button?
remote.
Don't know, man.
Why
Fix the
couldn't they
button.
fix the one? I mean, they didn't chuck it out the window. Like,
Well,
it's
I think
I don't know.
because of course the Burger Boy transcended his consciousness at the end, right?
Yeah.
he was
Right.
one with the AI, and then they made it a point, right, that the astronaut had these visions of the past, right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
gained all this
Super knowledge.
advanced knowledge, and so then it was important for him not to sacrifice himself like he wanted to and get back to Earth to share this knowledge.
Right.
Well, if the bomb goes off and it kills the AI,
Mhm.
then that means there's no more threat, right? And it doesn't matter if the humans know about any of the secrets because the AI from the moon would still be around and could tell the whole world, right?
Yeah.
Not just one person.
Right.
So the fact that he had to not die was just another layer of stupidity with this stupid writing.
this senseless plot.
And not to
action
mention that the
happening.
world is fucking trashed at this point. There's no civilization. There's no buildings. There's no anything, right?
Yeah.
What are they going to do?
I wanted to know the actual consequences of the moon basically scraping across the Earth and then just returning to orbit just as quickly as it came. It's just like right
Just
back
these-
out to a place where it's like instantly
Yeah,
sustainable.
irreversible
The two-
damage to the
Yeah, the
planet.
two astronauts left, Halle Berry and Bryan, whatever I don't know what his actual name is, but they're just like standing on some snow-covered hill with a piece of
New York
building, from New York or something like that, and having a moment. It's like, I want to give it another shot. And I don't know if they're talking about them, or they're giving life another shot, or like what, because they don't clarify.
Okay, I wrote that as a note. Halle Berry says something about, if we get a second chance, then we get one too, right? It was so stupid like that.
Well,
if we get a second chance, then we get one too. I don't know if she misdelivered the line or something,
and they just left it. I don't know, but either way, all of a sudden the there's like a beacon and a light, and then he turns around and he's like, I hope that's a tracking beacon, or he's like, I don't know what he says. And then all of a sudden, that better be a tracking beacon. And then whoop, right around the mountain, there's people there ready to rescue him.
Bro, that better be a tracking beacon. That was his fucking ship, right? That he flew.
Yeah.
He knows everything about that ship. Is that a tracking beacon?
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact that he's the one that helped dig it out and get it fitted for this mission. What do you mean, is that a tracking beacon?
Just padding his stats.
Roland Emmerich was anticipating that he can make a sequel out of this.
Oh wow! That's why the ending they were like,
imagine?
We better get started,
smokes.
right?
Can you imagine the shittery of this?
Isn't that the final line? The AI was like, "Well, we better get started."
Yes.
Oh, with the consciousness of the Burger Boy.
Yep.
I don't know. It felt like it was like a wannabe cliffhanger. Like, oh my god, what is gonna happen now?
Yeah.
Except for I could not care less what happens. I don't ever want to see that movie again. I'm not gonna watch a sequel.
Well, the whole point.
There's no way
point of those moon orb things is that they're going to seed new life, right? Because they're they were so advanced that they got rid of violence and everything, yet still had weapons to counteract the AI. So I don't know about that, but then so they sent out these moon orbs across the galaxy to find new habitable zones.
Yeah.
And so I guess, I mean, why the f didn't it just do what it was going to do? Well, I guess it did make humans or something. It seeded life on the planet.
It seeded life on Earth, and that was one of the visions that Bryan had.
Okay.
It's showing how the DNA got dropped into the ocean, and then the evolution up to humans.
That's right.
Yeah. So I mean, what do they mean? Let's get to work. It's been at work.
Yeah.
Right, for 4 billion years.
Maybe they're going to build other places. I don't know. That moon's just going to take off, and then the planet's going to fall apart.
See ya.
Probably.
All right.
They said it's the only one in existence, so it would make sense that you would try to see more life somewhere else. Oh man,
what a movie! Yeah, I just remember multiple times being like, "Oh my god, this thing is not. This won't end."
The only thing that I wanted to add at the end. So obviously, at the beginning, the song that they're doing is he's singing Toto's Africa.
Yeah.
And I think that song has a lot of importance to us.
Because
I vividly remember, not only have we played, I think, at every single wedding that we've been to with friends and stuff.
Yep.
But I remember downloading the song off LimeWire when I was into a cappella music, and it was the UNC Clefhangers doing Africa. And
nice.
that was back when I used to listen to a lot of a cappella and tuba solos. So
nice. I still strongly believe that, and this is not, it's not because of us, but it just I think it just happened this way. It doesn't always happen this way, but I think that we were like a year or two ahead of the wave of people, maybe even more, because Africa got so popular that Weezer did a cover of it. Like, and it's just like, I mean, it was like popping up in movies and things like that, this one. But like, I still remember when I was coming out to Nashville and visiting for doing songwriting stuff, and we would go to Craftsman's and get super blasted on their 2-for-1 specials. And then it was there
on one of those nights,
it was there that I forget. I feel like someone introduced me to it, but I learned about Creed bombs, where you
I did.
load up the
Yeah.
up the jukebox with Creed, and then as soon as it starts going, just pay your tab and fucking bail.
Yep,
Leave
that
everybody with Creed. But
Yeah,
like
that was it.
it was in Craftsman's that Africa came on. I didn't know what it was. Obviously, I've heard it, intermittently throughout my life. But I remember we were so drunk that there was a video of you, Jad, dancing to it, and you were hunched over and you were just swaying your arms. And I remember asking for that video because I couldn't remember the song. I just remember it being something about Africa. They're like blasting a rains or something like that. And I looked it up, and then it became a thing that dance was born out of. And then we started playing it at all of our weddings, and that stuff started happening. Like I got married in 2016, so it was before then.
Yeah, it was
before
around
2012,
2013, I think.
Yeah,
is when I did that dance in that bar, and then that particular night was the Creed bomb night and the Africa dance, and I mean we've done it at 6 or 7 weddings, right? Where we just load up or tell the DJ to just keep spamming it. And
there's one wedding. I think there was 8 times it played.
Yeah.
Yep. And then at my wedding, I made the playlist for the music, so I just added in a bunch of them. Right.
Yep. I do remember.
The one thing I was thinking of that is I used to listen to this podcast about a guy that like took all the tracks from like old songs and would like talk about how the different layers of instruments and stuff. I would love to hear all the different layers to Africa because I think there's a lot of instruments in that one. That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's a perfectly crafted song, and I can't believe that
so good
they used it in this movie.
It's too bad they started with it. It should have ended with it. But anyways,
I know
it was downhill after that.
So then, have we arrived at the point of giving this thing a score?
It's time, boys.
This is the Ascension to 10 podcast, 11-point rating system. What do you got, boys?
I would like to give this one a hard ascension.
Hard ass.
Hard ass. Agreed. That's what it is.
Like I know I've been pretty cautious about the 3 scores I've ever given. But if I'm gonna give a score, I always want to leave room for one that could be just worse, because then it'll just fuck up my scoring system. But I don't know.
Well, you gave.
I don't know. This was so uninteresting to me.
Oh, it's
so
bad.
I guess this is your first Ascension, actually.
Yeah.
Spenny and I have been dishing them out recently.
Yeah, we've been listening to watching some dudes.
Now, Brian, I need to bring something up quick.
Yeah.
It's about your ratings.
Oh yeah, tell me.
You've rated Krull, Severance first season, Top Gun 2, and now Moonfall. Right?
Yeah.
And I recall at the time that we did the Severance special, you were all him and hawing about, well, I can't give this a 10, even though this is amazing. I can't just give anything a 10 because nothing's ever perfect and it's just, la da da. So I'm going to give this a 9.9 or a soft 10. And then we watched Top Gun 2.
I said a soft 10, right?
Yeah. And then we watched Top Gun 2 and you said 10. Instantaneous 10.
Oh yeah, well that's a series versus a movie.
Yeah, I think what he was saying is that the canon wasn't done yet, so he was talking about the first season and then as it grows on.
Okay, all right.
But also I've rewatched Severance all the way through again.
Oh wow.
And I think I think it holds up. There's just no, it is open ended still, but I think they would really have to tank the whole concept. Would just have to be a sinking ship, 2 times what Moonfall was to even come close to bumping it from an Ascension for me, or not from opposite of Ascension, a 10. Yeah.
Jad, we still need you to watch Stranger Things so we can talk about that at some point.
For sure, you do.
Right.
But you also got to give this a score. What do you boys?
Ascension.
Oh
yeah, Ascension.
Yeah. We're all.
It's easy.
It's easy. Yeah.
And honestly, this might be the most essential.
Yeah, I know.
Is this worse than Battlefield Earth? I don't know. It's equally as bad.
As bad. The only thing that I will say is I'm having trouble with, is ID4 as bad as this? Because that was another
ID4 too. We gave. It's almost identical. The movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe. They're so equivalent.
Yeah.
Battlefield Earth did have the line that I just can't forget, which is, Kurt meet
Kurt.
Chert.
Yeah, that's
They just left it in the movie.
we actually
His line.
we talked about that
Yeah.
last week.
Amazing.
Kurt meet Chert.
Chert.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, I think what makes this one an easy ascension is that whereas maybe I don't remember what I gave Krull. I don't
2.
think it was great.
It's a 2 across the board.
But so Krull was the plot meh. Like the they did the best they could with what they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 2022.
Yeah.
You have so much more at your hands, and you make this pile of hot garbage, 2-hour pile of hot garbage.
When you're CGIing, when you're green screening in a hallway with a $140 million budget, that's an L. That's just an L immediately.
Yeah.
Ronald Emmerich pointed out that around the hour mark in this film, that numerous scenes were just actors working against an LED screen. He said that's how you shoot modern films. Most of the time, the extras in the background are CG.
Wow.
I feel like sometimes the actual actors were CGI too.
That's what he
Yeah.
said. Oh yeah, well, yeah.
No, the main
Yeah, the
characters
main
were
characters.
CGI'd in.
Yeah. That Halle Berry's husband, like attorney general or whatever the fuck he was, that guy, he was such a terrible actor.
Yeah.
Just not convincing at all.
He was like this guy that was trying to act
Oof.
like a concerned dad, but he was just like,
Yeah.
It's just that. Yeah, it was that monotone kind of thing again.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Bride, do you have a movie that you want us to do?
Oh man. I don't right off the top of my head. We do need to watch Virus. That's going to be in the near future.
put that on the short list.
Put that
Okay.
on the short list.
All right.
Absolutely.
We will do that.
All right.
I guess is it my turn, Chad, or is it yours? You picked last one, didn't you?
I picked Moonfall, baby.
Yeah.
It's a good pick.
You know what? You know what we're gonna do?
Please don't pick a good movie.
We're gonna do Lost in Space, the 2001.
Oh, with Matt LeBlanc.
Oh yeah, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I think that. Oh, 98. It's from 98. I was trying to remember.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
So that'd be a good
Good
one.
year.
I didn't pick a good one, so you said
All right.
okay. Well, I don't think it was. It's been a while since I've seen it,
I doubt this one good.
but
Well, if you want to recommend a movie, you can reach out to us at boys@ascension to10.com.
sometimes we check the email.
Hit us up on the socials. Check out the YouTube page if you're into that.
All of it's in the description.
Brian,
Give us a
you got anything you
5-star
wanna plug?
review on this one too. Bry's got some new
Yep.
music out too.
Yep.
I do. Yeah.
Check out
Got
Companyon.
Yep. Put out a single 3 weeks ago and have another one coming out at the end of September.
Woo!
Links in the description, as always.
You can find his music.
Check it out.
Hell yeah.
Is that it?
He's Jad. We got Bry. I'm Spenny. Talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Ascension to 10.